Hello, Longhorns. Hope everybody is having a marvelous Monday. I am coming to you with a Genius Hour reboot video to kind of explain what we're going to do and how we're going to kind of adjust some things for Genius Hour moving forward. So, our next Genius Hour is scheduled for Friday, February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. So that is not this Friday, that is next Friday. We're going to keep that on the calendar, but we have had kind of some discussions, some issues and solutions kind of discussions and brainstorming on the why behind Genius Hour and where we've kind of feel like we're missing the mark. So let's talk about a couple of things. When we initially started Genius Hour, it was within that paradigm of everybody has a genius, and we want to give kids opportunities, even if it's 30 minutes a few times a semester, to engage in something that they're either interested in and maybe have not had anyone in their world, an expert at that who can share wisdom and passion about something other than math, reading, writing, PE, music, that kind of stuff. So trying to think outside the box. So for 3 semesters now, we've really kind of only done Genius Hour one certain way. In discussions, some of the things that keep coming up are the number of kids. Like, the groups are so big that we can't really, it's more of herding cats. I mean, honestly, it's just herding cats. So to combat that, and, so that's the issue. We're herding cats. How do we move that forward? Well, the solution to that is that if you look at the numbers, to decrease classes between 10 and 12 kids, which are totally manageable and probably more enjoyable for the teacher that is teaching it, we have to have more teachers choose a Genius Hour and not repeat the same Genius Hour over and over and over again. Because when 3 people sign up to do cup stacking, well, then we can put 40 kids, 30, 40 kids in a class, but it's still, at the end of the day, herding cats when 30 to 35 kids come down there. So here is, we feel like we want to try an adjustment, and moving forward in this Genius Hour, we're going to try it. Instead of asking teachers in our questionnaire, like to set up for Genius Hour, what idea do you have for Genius Hour? Because it's like, oh, well, if I don't have an idea, then I don't have to teach a class. No. Our commitment at JES is that we believe that all children have genius. Well, if children have genius, so do the teachers. I know you have genius. So I know there are things that are on your heart, or things that you care about that you could be an expert in sharing with kiddos. So now we're going to start sending, or we are going to send, I'm going to send it this afternoon, a new Google form. And the question is not going to be, what idea do you have? It's going to be, what class would you like to teach? So if that's, for me, I'm just going to give you some examples. So here's some classes that I've thought of for myself. You guys know I love Canva, and I love creating the little flyers that we use at the school. So I would like to do like a Canva for kids and teach kids in a Genius Hour how to create a birthday invitation for their next party, or a Christmas card for their family, something like that. So there could be a Canva for kids. If you're somebody who likes cross stitching, I don't know. I don't cross stitch. So you can have a cross stitch class, but by each of us teachers, certified folks committing to teaching a class, we can drop these 30 and 40, 30 and 40 size classes down to anywhere, we can run classes from 12 to 15 kids, and you count, maybe at this point, a handful of them being absent right now, with the flu. You might have 10 to 12 kids in your genius hour. So we will not, one of the things we're not going to do is we're not going to limit it to a grade level. So if I choose to, we're first grade through fifth grade, all classes are first grade through fifth grade. So if I have 12 kids, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, that's 5, each group can have up to 3 spots for that class. And once those 3 spots are taken, then we close it and we get another group. Some classes may not, no second graders may pick Canva for kids. I don't know. Or no kids might pick Checkmate for chess and checkers. So then we still have, 3 more third graders can pick that, since no second graders picked it. So anyway, we're going to open it to everybody. But we're going to really stress that we want to keep every class between, I'm going to say 12 and 15 kids, except for if we have a class such as basketball. Well, if we have 12 kids in basketball, we know that Miss Lori and Miss Brooke are working together on that, and they have done a great job to bring in. So like in your entry of, this is the class I want to teach, I want to encourage you guys to reach out to some of our community members, reach out to maybe a parent that that you have in your class, or something that, hey, could you come up on these Fridays for 30 minutes and help me teach my Genius Hour class, or help me manage my Genius Hour class? So if you have a class that you feel like, hey, I could take 20 to 25 kids in my class and it still be doable, but I'm going to reach out and I'm going to have these people help. So for example, the basketball class, we have Miss Lori and Miss Brooke are doing that one together, or they're going to manage that, but they've already reached out to 2 of our high school basketball players who don't have first hour. So they're going to actually come over and commit to that time with us. And so having 24 or 25 kids in there and 3 adults or 3 people managing that group will be doable for that. So Mr. McCoy, he does the same thing with fishing. He's going to take, 15 to 20 kids in fishing, but he's reached out and he has a connection with the wildlife department. It's one of our parents. He's coming in and helping. And so that allows Mr. McCoy, another adult in there, to have those 20 kids in. So I would even still encourage you, even if you have 12 or 15 and you need a helping hand, find a connection, whether it, if it's a parent in your class that has a background in something that you're teaching, bring them in. Or if there is a club or a class at the high school, like a leadership class, if you can work it out that they're not missing anything at school and they want to come over and help, more power to you. But please be cognizant, if we do have some high school kiddos coming over, that we don't want to hinder their attendance by any means. If they have a class they need to be in, that's priority 1. So today, moving forward, so what we're going to do is I'm going to send that form out that says, what class do you want to have 10 to 12 kids with you in? There are a couple of classes that we feel like are solid classes that we need to hold for next semester, or for this semester, that we already have in place. But at this point, everybody's going to have to redraw anyway. But if it's a class that we're going to keep, the lead teacher is the one that is going to be teaching it. So if you are a second teacher underneath a name, underneath a group or a class or whatever, please commit to putting in a class that you want to teach. I will also tell you, we have some classes that we have the the material for that we don't have signed up. So, for example, checkmate class. Checkmate, we have all the chess and all the checkers set up, and we don't have anyone teaching that class. We have some kiddos that love that class, and to have 10 or 12, I mean, it's literally they walk in, they get their partner they want to play, they go sit down, and you're managing, just where they sit and what they're doing. Another thing we need to talk about is the larger groups that we have going. They're going to get the bigger areas. We're going to be using classrooms and maybe your classroom as where we're meeting. Now that we're having to minimize, and those people that don't have classes like myself, I don't have a classroom. So I'm going to have to go out and use a classroom to teach my class. So just know that it is going to take some time for us to kind of work out those logistics as well. But today through Wednesday, we would like this is the class I'm going to commit to teach. And we're going to ask you, obviously, like, where would you like to see that class? Which choice 1, where you would like to teach the class? Where's choice 2, you would like to teach that class? And we're going to try to space that out. Our goal is hopefully by Thursday, or maybe not Friday, but Thursday or Friday at the latest Monday, have the students choose their classes. And then next week, we're going to worry about the logistics and getting get everything listed out, who's teaching what kids are in what class. Also, any kids that are absent, getting them picking their classes again on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, get that information out to you, where we're going. Thursday will be a practice day. Let me say that again. Thursday will be a practice day after our second and third grade, or after our breakfast. We'll do a practice of where you're going and what you're doing, just a quick run through. And then our first Genius Hour will be on the 14th. Hopefully committing to the 14th being Genius Hour 1. Genius Hour 2 will be the 28th. We had scheduled a big gap through after spring break. So Genius Hour 3 will be the Thursday, the 13th, right before spring break, and keeping our final Genius Hour on March 28th. That way we have all Genius Hour and everything wrapped up before April testing starts. And we only have one Genius Hour that will interrupt a Friday after spring break. So those of you that are test prepping and all of that stuff, we should only interrupt once. So moving forward, that's what we're looking to. And I want to come back to our why. Our why is it's about the kids. It's not about us. And honestly, how you perceive and what you look at Genius Hour, what it can do, it can make a connection between a kid that maybe you wouldn't have seen, but yet you end up being the reason they enjoy coming to school and look forward to having you in class, or remember having you in class because you were a first grade teacher or whatever. They weren't in your class. So giving kids opportunities to see even adults in a different light, and making connections, because one connection can make a difference for any kid. So look for the Google form, get it filled out. Thank you. It's a great day to be a Longhorn. It won't end my stream. End the stream. What's happening? I don't know. Still will not end. I have no idea what's happening.